Hey folks, Ace TCG here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at the red Jesmon deck that has been taking BT6 by storm. Now the reason that this deck is so good is because it just has such good potential to have defense in the form of the Sistermons. It has such very good offensive output with the ability to have piercing, it can restand and has the ability to gain multiple different ways to gain security checks, and also has the ability to gain a lot of power, often seeing your Jesmon being on 17 or 18,000k, which just isn't going to be destroyed by anything really. And then you also have ways to run the options cards that are going to stop your opponent from using options cards in their security, so you have ways to get around the decks such as security control. So let's take a look. So let's go ahead and take a look at the babies. So I'm running 4 Demi-Meramon and 1 Koromon. Now a lot of lists are running the, can't remember its name, from 1.5. It's a Digi-Egg that has the ability to gain 1000 power when you attack one of your opponent's Digimon, which is really cool because you have ways, an options card in here that allows you to attack your opponent's Digimon that are stood, so you can gain that additional power and just make sure that you can beat over them early. So it is a very good card. However, I just found myself in a lot of situations where, like, just that one extra K, if you haven't got one of your Sistermons out, Sistermon CL, it's going to push you to 15k, which means that you've got to beat over all of the bonds, which is important for your survivability for your Jesmon. I think any of them are a good option. Most of the time you're going to gain so much power and DP anyway, it doesn't particularly matter. You could run 4 Koromon over the Demi-Meramon because they do literally the same thing. You're usually going to have the stack as well, but again, you're usually gaining that much DP. It doesn't make that much difference. If you have the one in your collection that's going to allow you to attack stud Digimon, that could be a good call for you. Next up, we'll go ahead and take a look at the Sistermons that we're running in this list. Now this is what makes the list a little bit different to your other decks. It has to run white rookies and rare white champions. Now it doesn't specifically have to be the rookies and champions, but these are the Sistermons that we currently have in the game and that are available to the Jesmon list. So we've got Sistermon Blanc and Sistermon CL. CL is the one that will have got a lot of conversation if you're in any of the Digimon groups, because the artwork of this got changed from a nun with guns, I think it was, to now this art, which is still quite cool, but I think a lot of people were simping over the other art and they're now fuming that this is this one. But Blanc is nice because it has the ability of all turns while you have a Digimon with Hookmon in its name or a Royal Knight in its type in play, all of your Digimon with Sistermon in their names gain blocker until the end. Well, just blocker, it's an all turns effect, sorry. Really good. There's a misconception that this gives it to the Hookmons. It does not. It just gives it to the Blancs, so watch out for that. Try not to get mistaken about that. They can be a little bit confusing with the thing. But I think the best thing about this card, apart from that blocker ability, which is already good, is that it just has the on-play effect of trigger, draw one card, helping you get your pieces that you need. And if you're in a bit of a bricky situation, you want to be able to draw as many cards as possible. And then we've got Sistermon CL, which has the all turns effect of all your Digimon with Hookmon in their names or Royal Knight in their types gain plus 2000 DP, which is really good. And then the best thing about CL is the on-play ability of simply gain 1 memory. Gaining a memory on play is brilliant, especially because we can play these for free with the Savior Hookmon, or we can play them for free with the Jesmon, which is just super potent. There's also a way that I'll talk about later that you can make it end your opponent's turn with one of the options cards that we are running that came out in BT6 because of that gain memory from Sistermon CL's effect. So we'll talk about that later. But yeah, we'll quickly just go over the rookies. So to start off with, we're running 4 Hookmon. This is probably the best searcher that I've seen in the game right now, just because it always hits. Well, I say always. I'll say always, you'll build the deck and then you'll miss like 7 times. But Hookmon's great. It has the on-play effect of reveal the top 5 cards of your deck, add up to 2 Digimon cards with Hookmon, Jesmon, or Sistermon in their names among them to your hand, and then you can place the remaining cards on the bottom of your deck in any order. Now this is really good because that's just so many targets. Hookmon can search for itself, a champion, an ultimate, a mega, and then all of your Sistermons, which is just crazy. like that's really crazy. You have one in every slot, the like chance to get this. I usually never like don't get at least one from this, and the best thing about it is it adds 2 of those things. This can drastically fix your hand if you've bricked. There's a lot of times where I'll have to hard play the Hookmon, even if I've hatched and I don't have another rookie for it, just because then I can then get like another Hookmon if I need to. But more importantly, I could get the Savior, which is a card that you often are missing, the Jess if you're missing that, or in a lot of times too, you're missing that Sistermons CL. Now you might notice as well, and you'll notice throughout the list, things are very reliant on you needing to have your pieces, and that's why the deck can brick a little bit, because you need to have Sistermons, you need to have a lineup with Savior in it, and then into Jesmon, because you want to be restanding your Jesmon so you can bring out 2 of the Sistermons. And then realistically, you also want the Greymon in your stack so that you do an extra damage, or you want your Tamer out. There's a lot of things that you want, but cards like Hookmon help to get those. Speaking of cards that helps to get pieces, I decided to run the BT5 Agumon, the on-play Agumon that searches for Greymons or Omnimon. So just on-play, reveal 3 from the top of your deck. Add a card with Greymon other than Doro Greymon, Burning Greymon, or Dex Doro Greymon. And you can add 1 card with Omnimon in it from your hand and place the remaining to the bottom of your deck. So it's not as good as Hookmon at all, but we do have targets that are in here that have Greymon. I'm also running the War Greymon in the Mega slot. Thank you, Dan Vang, for the idea. I completely robbed that one. And then also being able to search for your Blitz Omni is really good, because if you can get that in your hand, you can then go like swing with the Jesmon. Your opponent's got no security left, go for Omni for game, which is just great. And then the last of our actual red rookies, I know only 12 rookies in a deck is gross, but we're running the Agumon that just has the inheritable effect of give 1000 DP. I think this is good. Again, it's nice to just be able to have that additional power if you need it, and at some points in testing I did need it, and it was really, really useful. Next up, we'll take a look at our champions. We have the best red champion that has been so good since it came out. This is the Greymon with the inheritable effect of security attack +1. Super fantastic. Definitely run 4 of this, because if we can get this in the stack and then build the stack fast enough, you just win the game. This Agumon can search for this Greymon, which is rather nice. If you need it to, and it needs to come up if you're just missing a champion, this can potentially get you the best champion in your deck. Next up, we're running the Bow Hookmon that came in BT6. Now, overall, this card is a bit lackluster at times, because you feel like, oh, I really wish I had the Greymon. But the best thing about Bow Hookmon is it has a little bit of removal in its inheritable effect of, if you have a Digimon with Sistermon in its name, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 5000 DP or less. Now, that seems like a brilliant effect, and normally it would be an absolutely fantastic ability, but because Jesmon has the ability to gain piercing, blockers genuinely just aren't an issue anyway. But this can be good in some scenarios where you want to swing with your rookies and stuff like that, if your opponent has a really wide board of like little blockers. So being able to delete one can be useful, and you can search for Bow Hookmon with the rookie Hookmon that we were just looking for, which makes up for that not being the Greymon, because if you're missing a champion and you manage to grab it with the Hookmon, you start doing a lot of prayers and you start to thank whichever god or god that you believe in. And finishing off our champions, I am running 2 Agunimon. I was looking at different cards for this one, but I just think Agunimon is such a good card still for red that it was just worth running. It just has the effect of you may digivolve this card from your hand onto one of your red Tamers as if it was a level 3 Digimon. Now this is super good because, like the Blitz Omni, this is actually a way for you to like secure games and steal away wins from your opponent if they don't think that you have game. Swing with your Jess, your opponent has absolutely no security left. Because Jesmon can play your Sistermons too, if you play 2 CLs from the Jesmon effect, either from trash in hand, you gain 2 memory. Then you have the 2 memory to go into the Agunimon, and yeah, you're in a good situation. You've just won the game, and then you can move on to whatever you need to move on to next. Alrighty then, so moving on now, we'll take a look at our ultimates, and I think the good thing here is that we don't have to spend a lot of time on them because there is a little amount of them. We have a really this is such a good ultimate that some lists are running only just 4 of these in the ultimate slot, no other ultimates, because you want to hit this 9 times out of 10. I would probably never choose to go into a Volk if I have a Savior in hand, just because the Savior has some amazing effects in the form of when Digivolving, you may play 1 Digimon card with Sistermon in its name from your hand without paying its memory cost. I hardly ever use that ability, to be honest, because the meta is so removal heavy, I usually want to be building just in my raising area so that my Jesmon won't die and won't be vulnerable to removal from my opponent. But if you are playing it out on top of something, it can actually be really, really cool to just get your Sistermons out, because then you can do shenanigans with Sistermons. As you saw before, Sistermons have some really cool effects. So on this, you're either going to draw a card or you're going to get a memory back, which is super cool. And then it has, the best thing about this is it has the inheritable effect of, when attacking once per turn, if you have a Digimon with Sistermon in its name in play, you unsuspend this Digimon. So you unsuspend your Mega, which is going to be on top of it, which is absolutely bonkers because it means that you can swing for 2-3 checks twice. And then you can finish games with a Gunimon or Blitz Omni or any card that you've got on it. And this really helps with that OTK capability that the deck has. Definitely run 4. Please do not run less than this. It's in BT6, I believe. It's an uncommon, so you can definitely pick this up. Yeah, and that's another thing actually like to talk about. The deck's rather cheap. There's not a lot. I think the most expensive thing for you to actually pick up is, I believe Jesmon's sitting at around £7. So that's what, like $9, $10. But the Thai Tamers that we're running, the Thais, I think they might be a little bit pricey. They might be around the same price. So you can probably pick this up. So I know UK, I've seen this deck sell vanilla for like £35 before, which is just super good. Finishing off our ultimates, I'm running more than the 4 that I mentioned before. I'm running 2 Voltramon. So originally I was running the Rise Greymon that allows you to play a Tamer for your hand for free. Really good card, but I just didn't see myself often going into that because I want my inheritable abilities that I have on my champion or my rookie, or the little 1k that you get from your baby is useful. But also what's more important than that is, yes, you can play your Tamer, but then the Tamer does nothing for you, because for Thai security effect to be active, you need to have a lot of sources. So removing the sources is counterproductive, really. But Voltramon just kind of goes with what we want to be doing with the deck. If I can't restand, I want to do more damage. And yeah, it does bits of work when needed to. Only downside is I can't search for this. But if you can get it, it's still a good ultimate all in all. Next up, we'll take a look at just our Megas. So we have the Jesmon here. Jesmon is super, super nice. Really cool artwork as well. The alt art looks great. I don't have any, but if you've seen the alt art, or if you haven't, definitely take a look at it. It looks really cool. And it's actually, again, another alt art in this set that's actually pretty darn cheap. So Jesmon has the when attacking ability of, you may play a Digimon card with Sistermon in its name from your hand or your trash without paying its memory cost, which is, again, just absolutely really, really fantastic. If you have your Sistermons in hand or in trash, then it's going to come out and you're going to either get to draw all that memory from the CL, like I mentioned. Really, really cool ability there, just because it means that you're able to fill your board out too. And if you are getting out your Blanc, you're going to get some blockers there too. The Sistermon CL also gives this power. And speaking of ways to gain power, Jesmon also has the your turn effect of once per turn. When you play another Digimon, this Digimon gains plus 3000 DP and piercing for the turn. Now, a little note for this too, it's when you play a Digimon, you don't necessarily have to play a Sistermon for this. So if you played the Jesmon the turn before and you're on 3 memory because you have your Tamer out, you could just play like a Hookmon for 3, and then still get that bottom effect going off to give it the plus 3000 and the piercing, which can be crucial to make sure that you're hitting for numbers over what it's going to be destroyed on the security. So yeah, super good card, can't doubt it. Card go Brrrr, really cool. Now this is the card that I was saying that I just robbed the idea from Dan Vang. I'm not going to lie about it. It's one of those cards where everyone, all the YouTubers, most Digimon players, look at this card as soon as security control starts to be a bit too rampant. And in this set, security control is absolutely disgusting. Go to hell, Sam. I hope you're watching this. I hope you are watching this. I hate you, Sam. I think everyone has that one locals player who's just ruining your life by playing it. But today I played against the security control list and 2-0'd them within 8 minutes, and that was because I just drew War Greymon twice. Being able to have the if you have your Greymon as your champion underneath this as well, or you have your tie out, you're doing 3 security checks. I played against security control today, and I just went 4 security checks, Omni for game. Next game, 3 security checks, Omni for game. But the reason that you can actually do that is because it has the when Digivolving effect of this Digimon gains security attack +1. Remember that this is when Digivolving. The first time I saw this card, I was like, it always just has security attack +1. Because it was probably the first security attack +1 when Digivolving effect I'd seen. But the most important thing about this is it has the during your turn ability of this Digimon doesn't activate security skills on options cards, and it checks. This card just, it doesn't matter what security control does. There's nothing in your security that's going to hit over the 12 unless they're running, I don't know, is Sakuyamon 12k? Maybe watch out for Sakuyamon. But most of the time this is going to be 12 because of your egg. If you have the Agumon as your rookie, it's going to be 13, so you don't have to worry about that Sakuyamon. Swing for 3 or 4, restand because you have Savior Hookmon out. So you're going to have the Savior in the stack, and before you go into the Wargreymon, the turn before, you're going to want to go and hard play a Sistermon out so that you can next turn go into Wargreymon, swing, use the Savior effect to restand, swing again, and then you can swing with the Sistermon, or you can go into an Omni, or you can go into an Agunimon, or you can just make that security player cry, which is good because that's what they deserve. And that's coming from someone who played it last set and the set before. Yes, I am scum. Next we have Blitz Omni. Blitz Omni, go Brrrr. Good card, really good card. Just as when Digivolving Blitz, this Digimon can attack when your opponent has 1 or more memory. Swing for 3, swing for 3. You have no security left to go into Omnimon for game? Question mark. Is usually the case, and usually there is no answer to that. And it makes Digimon a really fun game where it's single player, which is what we want to do in a TCG. It also has a really cool... so the reason you can do that is it has the when Digivolving effect of unsuspend this Digimon too. So you can go 3/3, go into the Blitz Omni, it unsuspends, and then because you have Blitz, it can still attack. So yeah, swing for game. But it also has some really nice survivability, which is really needed in this meta. Oh, it makes me laugh how much removal there is in this meta. It has the all turns effect of if an opponent's effect would delete this Digimon or return it to its owner's hand or deck, you may prevent it from leaving play by trashing a level 6 Digimon card in this Digimon's Digivolution sources. So a lot of things to point out about this. You trash the Mega. The Mega doesn't go back to hand. A lot of Omnimons or level 7s bounce it back to hand instead of trashing. This one trashes, you do not get your Mega back, which is quite sad. And also, this does not stop destruction of battle. And also, a misconception is that it does not also stop Yellow's reduction. Yellow's reduction is a game state, or like a game mechanic. It's not actually like part of destruction, which is really frustrating. I know, it must be horrible for everyone who plays stuff like this. I wouldn't know, I'm a Yellow main, I sure hope. It usually feels good for me to remove your things, so I'd imagine that it also makes you feel really good. Next up, some option cards. We're running 1 A Delicate Plan. A lot of lists are running 2. I own 1, so I might run 2, but to be honest, because you have the Wargreymon to be able to deal with the security control anyway, I think 1 is perfectly fine, with a question mark. Run 2 if you have to, I'd probably say. Card is just super good in the current format where so many people are running options card, that's going to remove your game plan. Next up, we've got Judgment of the Blade. Judgment of the Blade came out in BT6, and it's the option card that actually supports the Jesmon deck. So it's a 1-cost options card that has the main of one of your Digimon with Hookmon in its name, or Royal Knight in its type, can attack your opponent's unsuspended Digimon for the turn. Now, this is the reason that people are running the egg that gives 1k when you attack your opponent's Digimon. Now, this is super good because Jesmon also has piercing, so you can attack your opponent's unsuspended thing and also do the piercing damage. But this is super good if you get out an ultimate early, you're able to have a plus 1k bonus from somewhere else, and then you Judgment of the Blade, and then you swing into your opponent's unsuspended Digimon. Yours survives and theirs does not, and you're in a situation where they are very behind, you are ahead, and you're running a deck that can OTK very easily. It also has the security effect of you may play 1 Digimon card with Sistermon in its name from your hand, or trash, without paying its memory cost, and then you add this card to your hand. So you can, when this goes off into security, you can play a CL or a Blanc. If your opponent's just gone into a Mega on your turn, usually they're going to be at 3. And if they've done that, they're going to be then at 0. And then this goes off, you can play CL. It's your turn because it makes it 1 memory. And that can just completely shut down a lot of different decks. And it's a big pain. And it's like you've got a mini Hammer Spark, which is always delightful. especially because a lot of people just do not expect it. Expect this. This can be really, really frustrating when you lose the game because of it. Finishing off our options card, it's actually a card that I really dislike. Red Memory Boost. I dislike memory boosts. I super hate them. I have like this vengeance for them because they just don't do a lot of the things that I expected them to do. And that's because, for one, it's a 3-cost options card. That's cool, perfectly fine. It's not going to pass your turn a lot of the times to play this, but it doesn't add a lot of like pressure to your board. And in this current meta, you really need to have a presence that's going to like scare your opponent to do something to react. So I get a little bit frustrated with these. So it's a main effect. Reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. Add 1 red Digimon card from amongst your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. And then you can play this in your battle area. And you can play it in your battle area because this card has delay, which is the best thing about this card. So delay, the delay effect is you gain 2 memory. So you gain 2 memory at any point after the turn that it is played by removing it from your battle area. That delay effect is the main reason that this is able to be run. The downsides of that top search effect. Now, because we're running a lot of white cards in this, it just means that you can put your Sistermons to the bottom of the deck when you're looking at them. You can put your Omnis to the bottom of the deck when you'd want to have them in hand. And also, this states add 1 red Digimon card, so you actually have to add a Mon to your hand. You can't get one of your options card. You can't get your other memory boost if it was there. So usually you do get one, but it's definitely not as much choice, for example, as you would with the Hookmon or another searcher. And like I said, you don't want to be like ending your turn with a red memory. The best time to play this is like turn 2 for you, when not a lot of things are happening and like maybe your opponent's a bit slowed down, so you have the chance to play this. And then that means that in the future you can play your Mega in the turn if you don't have your Tamer out, because if they put you to 1, you can red memory boost to go to 3 and then go into your Mega, which can actually secure your game. So it's a quite important card. I just seem to dislike it. And finishing off the list, we've got Tai Kermia. So Tai is the BT1 Tamer for red. It's a 4-cost Tamer with the start of your turn effect of if you have 2 or less memory, you set your memory to 3. And then your turn's effect of all your red Digimon with 4 or more Digivolution cards gain security attack +1. This means that Jesmon can swing for 3 security checks if you have the Greymon in your stack. Or it means that your War Greymon can swing for 4 security checks, because that is absolutely disgusting. 1, 2, 3, yeah, 4. And then it also has the ability of security. You can play this card without paying its memory cost. If you get tie out and your opponent's not OTKing you straight away, you can win the game. It's usually how I've found it. As long as you're not breaking too much, it just wins you the game. The pressure that this card adds is crazy, and if your opponent swings into security and you get a few of these out without them killing you, your opponent's in a bad spot, really. But yeah, that's my take on Jesmon. It's quite a cool deck. I think the issue with it that it definitely has is bricking. It can brick a lot. You've got a lot of different pieces that you want to be able to have in hand, but if you can have a little bit of the old look, if you can shuffle your deck really well every round and pray and keep your fingers crossed for 8 or 9 rounds and just like thread the needle, then this is definitely the deck for you. So yeah, thanks to everyone who has watched. Here is just a picture of the deck now, if you've waited to the end to just see that. I like to just show these because a lot of you folks have asked for them, so here it is. And yeah, I just want to again say an absolutely huge thank you to everyone who's new around here, who's subbed. In the last week alone, I've gained nearly 100 subscribers, which is unheard of for me. I think the last few videos that I've posted have done extremely well, and it's definitely helped. And thank you for the great feedback on my commentary video. There are going to be more videos like that coming very, very soon. I'm going to get some gameplay in for the Jesmon so you can see how it plays. But a lot of you have been asking for the last few updates on Yellow Mastermon. You want to know a little bit more than that, especially for you folks in the US, because you now finally have actual access to BT6. So yeah, let me know what your favorite deck is for BT6, what you're looking to build. Maybe we can talk about what your builds are, and I can get some insight into why you run the things you run, and maybe I can help you get some insight into some things that I might change. But yeah, I hope you have an absolutely great day, and thank you for watching. Peace.